Hey Team Hudson, Jeremy here on a Friday morning. Broadcasting from Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm over here for an event which I'll tell you about in just a second. We're going to get two updates this week, which if you have not watched the latest episode of In Their Words, where Nate shares a little bit about what he's excited about this trip and how you can pray for him specifically, do me a favor and just stop this video right now. Go back and check that out. I promise you, you're going to enjoy that one even more than you would ever enjoy this one. So make sure you check that out. So I'm in Indianapolis. Drove over last night. I'm going to be working tonight with a ministry that's very close to me. The event is centered around one question, which is, what are you doing to help get missionaries to the field and keep them there? And this is something that we've been thinking about, Julie and I, for a while. It's sad when you hear the statistics of how many missionaries or people that God has called to move into a direction of missions, whether that's local or national or international, and yet for whatever reason they aren't able to get that up and running and off the ground, and how many of them just out of discouragement or whatever just decide to stop pursuing that calling. It's also sad to hear that 75% of missionaries that leave a field that they're on because of an avoidable circumstance, like they didn't have the right coaching or they weren't prepared really, so they leave the field because of something that could have been avoided. 75% of them will never return to missions and never return to the field. And that's just a really sad statistic when you think about in the broader sense of missions and why we think missions is important. So Julie and I have been thinking about not only this question, but also so why do we do what we do? Why are we doing Team Hudson Goes to Mexico? And the reality is that for me, for other people like Julie and I, and people whose life is very mission centered, it's our jobs. It can be simple, or it can be easy to allow those kind of things to be your professional life. That missions and ministry is so closely tied to what I do 9 to 5 that. What am I doing about it personally? And so I'm here tonight, and some other opportunities we have, because we want to be personally investing in that question. What are we doing to help get missionaries to the field and keep them there? Why am I telling you all this in an update? Because from the broader sense, that's also why Team Hudson is going to Mexico. We have gotten to know the missionaries and the leaders, both the international missionaries, but also the national missionaries, the ones that are taking this charge of building this church and connecting in this community. We've gotten to know them closely as friends, and not only are we looking forward to going and spending time with our friends, we were really praying that God would use us in some way to encourage them. I remember being on the mission field. I remember what it was like when people would come down and just invest into us relationally, not because of our ministry, but just because of us. And I remember whenever they would leave, we felt encouraged. We felt like we weren't isolated. We felt like somebody knew what was going on and was praying with us and partnering with us and caring about life that's broader than just what's happening in the ministry. So we're excited as Team Hudson, especially Julie and I, to be able to go and spend some time with missionaries that have been investing for tens, decades really in missions and ministry, and to let them know that they're not doing this alone, that there are friends that are behind them, and to hopefully allow God to use us or to work through us to encourage them. So I want to put that question out to you though. So what are you doing to help get missionaries to the field and keep them there? Obviously you've joined Team Hudson, and so you're partnering with us in that desire to go and help with this ministry and encourage these missionaries. But what else could we be doing? Who do we know that's currently a missionary, again, in a local, national, or international context, that maybe we could give them a call or shoot them a message on Facebook and just say, hey, I was thinking about you. How are you doing? It's been a while since we talked. Is there anything going on that we can be praying with you about or celebrate with you? Who do you know that's trying to get to a mission field besides Team Hudson? Who do you know that has received a call like that, and you could say, hey, I want to get behind this. I want to I want to be a bigger part of helping get them there. At the end of the day, that's so important for the gospel to be able to go forward, is to have people who will say, I will get behind this ministry, and I will help stay behind this ministry for longevity to be achieved. We could not be thinking about doing something like this without each one of you. We're so grateful that you stepped up and said, I want to help. I want to be a part of getting the Hudsons to Mexico. But know that you're doing more than that. You're also investing in a group of missionaries and leaders on the field that will be sending them a strong message together that you're not forgotten, that your work here is important, and that we're really excited about being able to walk this out with you. So, think about that. Post some comments. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks again for being a part of Team Hudson, and we'll talk to you soon.